How are you?
Good, good, good. How are you?
You
I'm
know,
so
it's
glad to be with you.
me too, and it's snowing outside because, in Santa Fe, New Mexico, we get snow, but this year we haven't gotten a lot. And the quiet and the beauty of snow is just something that blows my mind. So, to all of you in Saudi Arabia and across the Middle East, I'm sending you beauty and quiet through our snow.
We're definitely missing some snow, some here in Saudi.
So I am thrilled to be talking to you today for two reasons. One, because you, for over a decade, you have been, and how old are you? You're 19 now? You look about 19. Uh,
Actually, oh, that's so sweet. But my birthday was actually a couple of days ago. I just turned 35. So yeah,
Happy
yeah.
birthday! Happy
Thank you, thank
birthday!
you.
You have been leading the creative economy in Saudi Arabia for over a decade. You launched Design Cafe, which was the first design magazine in the country, and you received the first, as I understand, film distribution rights a couple of years ago. The other reason I'm excited is because you and I share a sentiment, which is you were quoted as saying, creativity, I got to get it right, creativity has no age, gender, or nationality, which
That's true.
I love that because that's really the mission of our work is to lift up creatives because every community on every corner of the planet has creative entrepreneurial people. Tell us about
I've always
your,
found so much creativity in so many different
yeah.
people with different backgrounds. It's so inspiring.
Yeah, and when they come together is when it's just like magic, right? Those
Exactly,
different
exactly.
people. Yeah,
The
yeah.
more different the backgrounds and
Yes.
that collaborate together, the more interesting the final result is.
So when you and I talked, we talked about that word collaboration because I asked you for entrepreneurs who are just getting started, what is one word that for them can be like an anchor towards success? And you said collaboration. Why?
First, I think designers in general are usually very creatives in general. They're not really about the business side. They tend to be just about really trying to produce something that they believe or can imagine in their heads.
Yeah.
And I think the more we unite and the more projects that I've seen that are collaborative, where a photographer with a writer or a poet with a calligrapher, the more that they collaborate together, the final result just comes with so much background, different backgrounds, different walks of life, different thoughts, that just it brings so much flavor to the final project.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
we've recently worked. There was recently a project that we just published as a book because we're also a publishing house, and it was for this very creative person. Her name is Rana Bakhsh, and she collaborated with a photographer and a calligrapher.
Okay.
And basically, it's called Light Beings. The book is called Light Beings, and
Okay.
basically they created portraits of angels.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
all the angels that are mentioned in the holy books, they created this artwork that doesn't necessarily represent what they do. They just represent what they do in a very artistic form. And
Yeah.
I just, it was so interesting to see how each one translated it and how they got it into one artwork form. I actually have
And
like,
how they came together around
yeah,
the ideas. Let me see. Hold that right
yeah,
up. I want to see that.
yeah. So this is actually, we published one of the artworks in Design Magazine.
Yeah, I
And
love that piece. Yes.
this is the angel Radwan, and he's the guardian of the heavens. And they did it in this calligraphic form,
That's
uh,
beautiful.
to a specific kind of photography, like photography.
Yeah.
So it's just the way that people, when they open up and they're open to share their ideas and not be afraid, that creative centrism, no, they're going to take my idea and I'm not going to shine. And that way of thinking really hinders the creatives rather than actually, make them shine. And I've
Yeah.
seen the creatives great. They really shine, and the final artwork is something, the final designs are something that really has a different soul and spirit.
So one of the things that we've seen creatives become very good business people at is finding collaborators who are on the business side but share their creative vision. Have you seen, or maybe in your life, you've had success because of business people who have supported your work?
Definitely. I think there are the designers and there are the ones who appreciate the designers. I think the value of design, or what design is something that it took 15 years, I think, in Saudi to start appreciating the value of the designer. In the beginning, when I first started, there wasn't really much awareness of the effect and the power design has over everything. I think it changes the whole economy. Economies have changed because of design. And I think now there has been so many supporters and so many people who invested. And now, as a government, they've with the Vision 2030, they've really realized or really invested in developing the human, the designers, the creatives, and even investing in so many projects to develop the architects, the interior designers. I definitely, in my beginning of my career, there were this interesting couple. Their name is Mr. Talal Zahid and Kholoud Zuhair. These two are just these amazing couple. They're so sweet, and they supported the arts and the designers for so long. They actually, it was one of my first projects where they wanted me to publish a book about their house. And it's beautifully designed house, and she designed it herself. So it's just, they constantly support projects like these. That the book is not here with me.
But one of the things that I think is hard for creative entrepreneurs to do is maybe to trust the business side. And one bridge that we try to help build is a bridge to a network of people who are those people you just described, who really love the creative vision, want to stay grounded in the creative vision through supporting creatives. So we have over 100 mentors globally who just want to give their time to up and coming creative entrepreneurs. Because that trust piece, I mean, collaboration is based on trust, right? And it's hard, I think, for creatives, at least in other places we've worked. It's hard for creatives to find business people who they trust. How do you gauge when you go into a collaboration? What are some of the things you do to gauge? Can I trust this person? Can I trust this business person?
So firstly, I really appreciate what you guys are doing. I've always met creatives who are very creative, but they just don't know how to turn their creativity into a business, functioning business. And they try to learn it on themselves, because finding also people who would invest, or business people who would invest, it usually tends to be hard. So so courses like courses or workshops, or even entities that could support, we try to, we actually have a department where we consult on how to do business strategies, or turning your creativity into a business form. And I think the key thing is just believing that you can do it. Sometimes when you're creative, you're just, okay, I can be creative, I just don't know accounting. I'm really bad with numbers. And this just tends to hinder their thought that they could actually turn it into a business. So I definitely usually encourage people to join workshops like the ones that you guys are presenting, and the support that you guys are presenting for creatives. And also there are so many, one of the things that I would recommend is just self-branding. Designers tend to easily brand everything, or help, or know how to design for others, but they find it very hard to design for themselves. So working on your self-brand is one of the things that I really think helps with knowing how to present your ideas and understanding how to give it to others. And I think self-branding it's a long process, but it's once you start understanding more yourself and how you can present your work to others.
So how would you describe your brand? What's your self-brand? I know. Those questions are always the hardest.
I definitely think design in all its forms. I think design is life. And I don't think design is something that it's an industry, rather than it's a way of thinking. It's the way of seeing things. So that's why when people tell me, okay, so what exactly do you do? I can tell them it's a way that I present things, or I think of something that I could actually work in any industry, and I have worked in so many different industries. And it's the way that you could analyze the information and visualize it in different form, and present it in a form light, or put a light on something new. So, for example, I've worked in the sports field, and I've worked in and created like a slogan for and a whole media visual entity for the sports team. I've worked
that.
with,
Who was it?
yeah, that was different. Sports football here in Saudi is a major thing. So
Which
we
team?
have
Can
like
you share which team you worked with?
So I've worked with Al-Wahda. Al-Wahda is the sports team from Mecca, which is the holy city of Mecca.
Yeah.
And of course, and Al-Wahda has a great, like, legendary history in sports. And I was so we our company was signed as the first to manage the media center. For me, it was a different experience. I was like the first woman to enter a sports club in that form. But it was so invigorating, and so like it was so great to deal with the sports audience. It's and like communicating and visually communicating with the sports in the
That
sports
was
field is
exciting.
so interesting.
We have a new professional soccer team here in New Mexico, and New Mexicans, we've just gone crazy for it. It's so fun. You know,
What's the team called?
It's called United. It's called United.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
Actually, Al-Wahda is the Arabic word for the word united.
Oh, I love that. Oh my God, they're like sister soccer teams.
Yay.
Oh yeah, the owner is a friend, and they're fantastic. They're just fantastic. You mentioned something that you and I have kind of just coasted past, which is women in business, right? You were the first woman. I'm probably one of the only women that runs a global accelerator. What's different for women in running business, and what's the same?
I think there is a perception, a pre-perception, like a pre-conscious perception about, especially about Saudi in general, that women can't do this, women can't do that. This definitely has changed.
Saudi isn't different in that. The U.S., we do that really well too.
Yeah. And I think the thing is that the government has been so supportive to women, and enforcing that women should get bigger roles, more managerial roles, and even starting their own businesses. And I think it's more about perception change. It's about how to change a culture perception about what a woman can do, and what she can achieve. And the more I work with other women who started their businesses, or they are working, I realize it's just about having more how would I say it, like more responsibility about your role as working, or just presenting what you do, because you actually end up not presenting just yourself. You tend to present all women who do anything. So I think it's a bigger responsibility. So I see that women, they're more persistent, they're more hardworking. I don't want to sound biased, but in my team, I like to have more women in the team. And I don't know if that sounds biased, but I feel like they're more insistent to work harder and be better representative to how women are at work. So yeah, definitely. We definitely suffered in the beginning.
Well, we have just a minute left, and I just want to thank you, because you have a fantastic following. People across the Middle East, but certainly in Saudi, know of your work, admire your work. So thank you for taking the time. As you mentioned, we have applications open right now for our accelerator program for creative women-led teams in Western Saudi Arabia. We hope to bring other programs to the region. And we would love to continue the conversation with you, include you. You know, we held off on hosting the program because we kept thinking the pandemic will go away and we can go be in Saudi Arabia with these women entrepreneurs. We finally gave up, so the program will be mostly online. But the benefit of that is we get to bring mentors from all over the world. So we have a great lineup of female and male mentors who have built successful creative businesses. And I have to say, the Saudi community has come together to support our work in a way that other regions we haven't seen step up. I mean, the leadership around 2030 and the work that the creative economy leaders are doing in Saudi has been impressive, to say the least. So thank you for your welcoming, for your time.
Thank you for having me, and shout out to the program that you guys are doing. It's really amazing, and I'm looking forward to actually maybe take part with you guys. And I definitely agree that it's online, so I'm sure it's much stronger and better. And collaboration and everything, especially with us women, the more we collaborate, the better we will do.
Lift each other up. Thank you. You are a dynamo.
Thank you. It was nice. Bye.
Bye-bye.